and I just started sponsoring one of the girls in the program, and she's only 28. And then this last year, 8 of her friends have either died from fentanyl poisoning or committed.
Oh my gosh.
And that's insane to me. Like 8.
8
like
out of, in
crazy.
1 year?
In 1 year.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. Welcome back to the show, guys. Got fellow podcast hosts here with me today. Hosts of the Hoopaholics podcast, Natalie Marie and Chad Carlsen. How's it going, guys?
Really good.
Doing
but
great.
It's Natalie Eva Marie, and it's Hoopaholics. Hoopaholics
I might have to redo that.
Close, but it's...
There is a Hoopaholics on YouTube.
There is?
Yeah, every time you go type in Hoopaholics, it switches it to Hoopaholics.
Ah.
Interesting.
It's a
Are they big?
basketball podcast.
Interesting.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how did you guys get started with the podcast? I know there's a big mission behind it. I'd love to hear why you started it.
Yeah, I'll answer that just because it's really close to my heart. A year ago, 9/11, 2022, I got a phone call at 7:30 a.m. From my daughter, and when I answered the phone, she was screaming, and that kind of scream when you know that somebody's dead, and she was just screaming, "Justin's dead," and he died from fentanyl. We call it fentanyl poisoning because there's no safe dose of illicit fentanyl.
Yeah.
And as part of the healing, I decided that I'd be a voice for the people that no longer have a voice, and for the families who can't get out there and bring awareness to this horrible epidemic. I mean, fentanyl it's insane.
Yeah,
300
it's big.
people are dying every single day. So,
Wow.
we're out there fighting that fight.
That's a lot of people. Is that in the U.S. or worldwide?
U.S.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's CDC numbers.
So that's just what they're willing to admit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's crazy. Yeah, it was big where I grew up in Jersey, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, East Coast, I feel like there was a lot of it over there.
I know, it's crazy. I just got back from Spain, and I was talking about it over there, and they couldn't believe it. Like, they hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
And that's the one that's in, right? Fentanyl.
Well, no, it's
It could be
it's in pressed pills all by itself now.
Oh, yeah?
But you'll find it in you'll find it in means you'll find it in that you buy off of the streets. That
Adderall. There's a girl that so we just had a big TikTok star's dad, Coop's dad, on the podcast yesterday, and he was telling us about a story of a girl like just studying for her finals at college, and she ran out of her prescription Adderall, so her friend had it and gave her one just to get through studying, and it was laced, and she ended up. So it's
terrible.
literally in like recreational use is not what it was like when I was like in my or alcoholism at all.
Yeah.
Like you can't just try anymore.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. So why are they putting it in these? Is there like, does it help their margin or something?
I mean, that's the question. It's highly addictive. It's highly deadly. But now you're talking about a pill versus like black tar that you have to cook up in a spoon, put in a syringe, and inject. So more people are willing to take this versus something scary like. But it's way more potent and way more deadly than.
You really only need like the smallest amount. So I work a 12-step program, and I just started sponsoring one of the girls in the program, and she's only 28. And then this last year, 8 of her friends have either died from fentanyl poisoning or committed.
Oh my gosh.
And that's insane to me. Like 8. That's
8
like
out of, in
crazy.
1 year?
In 1 year.
That's terrible. And this hits deep for you guys because you guys both have your experiences with, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how this all kind of came apart, and I joined the Hoopaholics, and
Shout out to today's sponsor, NordVPN, my personal favorite VPN. You can change your virtual location very easily with Nord with one click and sometimes even 0 click if you want to have on auto connect. It's got amazing speed. It's probably one of the fastest VPNs out there in my experience, and you can use one Nord account on 6 devices to make sure the whole fam's taken care of. You can also use it to avoid price discrimination, so you can see if certain products or services are cheaper in other areas or regions, which I have personally used on flights, and believe it or not, I've saved some money. You can also use it to secure your connection, protect yourself from hackers, especially in public locations like airports, hotels, etc. You can make sure you're safe there. It's supported on every major platform, Windows, Android, iOS, etc. So don't worry about where you can use it. They got you taken care of. You can get an exclusive deal at the link in the description, nordvpn.com/DHS. If you're listening on audio, we will link it in the video. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Check it out, guys.
Affinity group, and I'm really, really grateful just because it's one of those things I happened to come on as just a guest on their show, and then we hit it off. And I know it sounds like cheesy, but it was suggested to me to write and put things down that you would like, kind of like a vision board type deal. Yeah. But I hate saying vision board because I feel like it's so
cliche.
Yeah, and I'm just like
I have one, but
okay.
I know what you mean. I don't talk about it.
It's not, it just sounds so weird. So I had wrote down, I think, I don't know, maybe 10 years, because I have 10 and a half years of sobriety right now. And nice. I wrote down that I've always wanted to own a recovery center, as well as use my platform in some type of way, because I used to be in so much shame and like live a double life and not want to talk about working a 12-step program or that I was sober, and I lived that like duality for a long time, and then finally I kind of bit the bullet, I guess you can say, and was kind of like forced to go ahead and tell my story on a reality show, Total Divas, and on WWE. So that kind of put me out there, just because it's powerful to have, if I'm talking about all of my own nonsense and character defects, then nobody can really use that against me. Right. So then I went on their show, and we all hit it off really well, and they fell in love with my husband, and they got stuck with me. And so now I'm one of the hosts of the Hopeaholics podcast, and it's really awesome. I think it's really important, because I wish that when I was a lot younger, because my first time getting sober was at 23, and I feel like who knows if this would have happened, or if my life would have maybe went a different route, but just being able to talk about it or hear what's going on, and seeing other people, like, sobriety doesn't have to suck. Yeah. It's not boring. It's not like this woe's me type of thing. It's like, once you're able to take control and make the choice, and you can have a life beyond your wildest dreams. Yeah. And I'm definitely a testament to that. Like, I'm so grateful to Chad, to his wife Donna. Like, I absolutely love them, and I just met them. Amazing. And that to me is like a God moment in my life. So
yeah,
sounds like you two are together for a purpose.
Yeah. For a purpose, a bigger purpose. And I 22 years ago, when my daughter was born, is when I had a moment of clarity, and I decided that to get clean. I almost died in a car accident 5 days before she was born, and I decided to get clean. And I was like, why did God leave you here? And I knew He had left me here not just to be a dad, but to help other people that suffer from the same thing that I suffer from. So I started working in drug and alcohol treatment. 2 years later, opened up my first treatment center called Hope by the Sea. It's 21 years old. And from that, we've spawned the Infinity Group, which owns 7 other brands, including, we just opened up NEM Recovery Centers, which is, NEM is always Natalie Eva Marie. And that one literally opened 2 weeks ago. Wow. So,
fresh.
So we've done, we met, we got her as a host on the podcast, and we already opened a treatment center together.
Amazing. Yeah. So you're saving lives now.
Saving lives, man. That's is so actually powerful. What we talk about all the time, is we're just out trying to save lives.
Yeah. Now, what's been both your experience with rehab centers, treatment centers? I see mixed things about them. Are you fans of their whole business model?
Well, I'm not fans of everybody's business model. A lot of people come in and I'm a fan of my own business model.
Yeah.
Because I believe if you put client care first, all of your bills are paid. You know, and most people come into the business because they think that they're going to make a ton of money. Yes, you can make money in this business, not as much as you used to be able to, because the insurance companies are the ones that are in control of how much you get paid. And they've really cut that off.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it for the right reason, then I'm a fan. You know, I'm a fan. If you're doing it just for money, like let's say I'm gonna give you a quick example. There's an insurance policy that pays really well. We'll just say it's Cigna. I don't know if it is Cigna or not. You know, wink, wink. And then you have a Blue Shield of California that pays really. And I have both of them in my program. If this guy breaks the rule, some programs will be like, keep him because that's a Cigna policy, you know, or, you know, but then if he's a detriment to other client safety, they'll keep him anyways. You can't treat somebody different based on their insurance policies. You have to treat each individual as an individual, not how much you're getting paid.
Right.
And on my behalf, why I really was just like so drawn to the entire like Carlsen family is because they've been in business for, 21 years is incredible.
Right.
My experience in rehab was absolutely terrible. I didn't, and that was just on me because I wasn't ready, but the facility and just like the care wasn't like I got to witness myself firsthand walking into Hope by the Sea and meeting the patients and seeing all of the case managers, the nurses, and everyone cares about your growth and what you're doing, and it's really incredible to see. Plus, we also have it's called Recover Out Loud, and it's a weekly meeting on Zoom for literally everyone. So we have parents that have lost kids from fentanyl poisoning come on because they need somewhere to get some type of they need to grieve, they need to hear other stories, and it's like a place where everybody can kind of share openly as well as share what they're doing to kind of get out of that pain. Because anybody that is either successful or that you want to have as a mentor, they've all gone through some like everybody has.
Right.
And being able to talk with like-minded people, and it helps them continue on their days and become better. But what amazed me about and why I wanted to partner with them so much is because, piggybacking on what Chad said, there's been so many patients that log into this meeting and say, thank you, Chad, for keeping me, because he'll sponsor somebody if they can't afford it. Or like he's saying, there's no favoritism based on insurance policy. It's based on the patient and if they really want to get better. There's some people that aren't ready and they want to leave, and they leave because, you can't keep anybody and like they're in prison. But that's what I thought was pretty beautiful, because it's a disease that's people on a day-to-day basis. And if you are going into treatment, you should go into the best care possible.
For sure. It's really cool to see you guys speak up about this, because I feel like a lot of them are money driven.
Yeah.
They care about just the dollars on paper, you know what I mean? And like, my dad was an alcoholic, and I saw what he went through. He ended up in a psych ward, and honestly, he came out worse. So I feel like a lot of people are coming out of these places worse because they're not being actually cared for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a big deal, because when you're going into treatment, not only do you have a disease, right? So, and you're super clouded because you have so many substances in your body. So you have to go through detox, and then, you have to start basically learning who you are and then those tools. And if it's not done properly, then unfortunately, like you said about your dad, it really makes a person kind of end up deteriorating and going even worse.
Saw it with him the later years in his life, for sure. Yeah, because they prescribe you all these medications, and you just lose all sense of emotion.
Right.
And it's terrible.
I'm not a fan of that, man. I'm a fan. One thing that we're a fan of is
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
Mind, body, and spirit. And we're really big on actually working the trauma that you sustain, because I believe that addiction is not is a symptom of an underlying psychological issue, right? So we work on that first, and alongside of that, we're working on your fitness, and your spirituality.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something other places, they'll just give you a pill.
I mean, you should see our gym.
Yeah,
we have a full-blown gym. We have full-blown commercial kitchen.
Wow.
It's all top-notch stuff. I will say that our program's not the program for everybody. Some people come in, they hate it, or they're not ready, or whatever. But then on top of that, I also hire the top-notch therapists, and they go through our training, which has been proven 22 years of success.
Wow.
I believe that the Infinity Group, which is our management company, is the standard for the treatment industry today.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it is, man. I've never heard of something like this, like a gym in the facility.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
awesome.
my first time as a guest on the show, I got to obviously, take a tour, and that's what blew my mind as well, because I totally believe in it's your mind, body, spirit. They're all connected, so they all got to be flowing in the same direction, or else something is off. And walking into the gym, I'm like, this is wild. I know my rehab facility didn't even talk about
it. It didn't have
fitness.
a full court basketball
No, it didn't.
court.
It didn't.
Sign me up, man.
All Laker colors.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, just little things like that are super important, because yes, you have to work on all of the emotions and things or the trauma that you're basically trying to kind of numb. So that's a heavy part of treatment. But then also being able to talk about nutrition and 30 minutes a day, move your body. Like, all that stuff is super important that I feel like kind of gets missed in. I can't speak about other treatments, but I know about the treatment that I went to. Yeah. And it was never even talked about.
Terrible. So how many rehab centers did you guys have to go through? Because I see articles about Pete Davidson, going to like 5-10 places. Sounds pretty hard to find a good one.
So me personally, I went to one, and I personally wasn't ready. And that's one of the things that I always kind of like, make a strong point in, is the individual themselves. They have to be ready to get well. So because it's a simple program, but it's hard work. Like, that individual has to want it. And I obviously was not ready. So I was relapsing in treatment, right? Which is insane looking back on it. I was definitely out of my mind, but when I came ready to actually do the work and say I'm doing this, that's when I got it. So it really is, I feel like, based on individuals, because I know for a lot of parents or a lot of like spouses, they want to send their loved one to treatment, and I always use the analogy, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Right. So there's like so many factors in success rates, and like how that kind of what works and what doesn't. But I think that it is based on the individual.
Yeah, for sure. I went to how many, Donna?
Oh, she stuck with you the whole time?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I probably went to like 8 treatment centers. Wow. And I went to the most bougie treatment centers, and I'll tell you, the very end, the last treatment center that I went to was the bottom of the barrel. It was court ordered. I got myself in some trouble, and I was there for a year. It was not a nice rehab, but it was exactly what I needed at the time. Wow. And I took advantage of every piece that I could, and that was it. That was it for
8
me.
places. What do you think they are doing wrong? How do you think these places can improve overall?
I mean, they need to check my pockets, because the first 6 I was high as you know,
Right. And I was relapsing in mine.
and she was
so,
relapsing in
like,
hers. So
they
let's
definitely
let's
need to
check
check
the
my
pockets.
backpack. And
They're not
purse
strip
and
searching you guys?
socks.
Yeah, they weren't strip. They weren't strip searching. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I'd come in because I actually relapsed as a treatment owner, and you know, and I fell in the public eye, and it was really in my public eye. And it was really embarrassing, and you know, I kept showing up to rehab, and they knew who I was.
Wow.
And so they would kind of give me like the red carpet treatment. And the last place though, this lady, her name's Nancy Clark, and she won't mind me shouting her out. She didn't give me any red carpet treatment at all.
Yeah.
You know,
And you needed that.
I needed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
I'd walk in and I'd have in my pocket. They wouldn't even search my pockets.
Wow.
And then I'm in the bathroom like shooting methamphetamines, needles, all of it.
They didn't search you or anything?
No.
Wow.
Same
I thought
with,
they were.
Same with me.
Yeah?
It was like
Psychotic, thinking I was working for the CIA, all kinds of awesome stuff.
Because they
Yeah.
just see you as a number. They don't even care about
Exactly.
No,
Right?
no.
Yeah.
you. Wow.
And I paid for my rehab
Cash?
out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Like, so the nerve of me, but I just was, I had put my, I had put myself in some pretty hot water. So I couldn't put that on my parents either. I love my parents. They are my heroes. So I didn't want them to have to pay for my nonsense
Yeah, yeah.
essentially. And so I was paying out of my pocket, yet I was like bringing into the facility and then
Wow.
doing my thing, and then I would be going into meetings and I'd be talking like a mile a minute, like just
Wow.
craziness. But that's like the insanity of like the disease, you know. So that's
Yeah.
why I always say, like, you know, it really is truly based on the individual, and that's also too a big factor into you being successful in your sobriety.
Yeah, because they can only do so much. They can guide you, like
Totally.
you said. They can't actually get you clean.
Right.
It's on you. So, like, what are their success rates of these? Is there statistics on it?
I mean, I could give you statistics on Alcoholics Anonymous is like 5%.
Yeah.
5% of the people that go into Alcoholics Anonymous stay sober for 1 year.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
It's like the
Wow.
very,
So
very small.
it's rough, you know. I mean,
is.
treatment centers. I will tell you, the longer you stay in treatment, pilots, if they get busted, they have a 5-year program that they have to follow, and if they get one relapse, they can never fly a plane again.
Wow.
So and their success rate is like 95% of pilots that go through that program succeed.
Dang. That's high.
So the truth is that the longer you stay in treatment, the better your chances are. Now, you don't have to stay in crazy residential treatment for a year. It's a step down process. You do the residential, then you do outpatient, and then you do sober living with you know, once a week counseling,
Right.
and you get drug tested regularly.
Okay.
And if you do that for a year, it is 80%.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Which
Yeah.
I always highly recommend, because especially if you've clearly been struggling, and that's why you're in rehab, you got to do a lot of work.
Right.
So to go back into your so-called day-to-day life is, I think, not the best, and that's why it should be like the step-down program, just because you're going to have to do some, you know, your friends can't be the same ones that you were hanging out with.
Right.
And you can't stay in that same circle, because it's very easy to go to treatment and be like, yes, I have finally found God. I got this.
And I'm going to save my
Yes.
buddy over there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then you leave, and then it's like you see your buddy, and then, you know, a couple hours later,
You're high.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah. I mean, I remember.
dude, you're like, dude, just
I know.
90 days clean, bro.
I'm like, it's so crazy, because the fact that I can, like, it's amazing because I get to laugh at all my nonsense that I used to do.
Yeah.
Because now I've, like, you know, stacked some years together. When I was 23, I graduated college and got myself in some trouble, so I had to turn myself in, and the judge was like, well, I'll let you walk and graduate, and then you're going to have to, a week later, come and turn yourself into county jail. I was
Dang.
like, okay. So I go to jail for 3 months, and that's where I was going to, like, AA, but I was only going really to get out of my little, like, cell. And I remember thinking, like, okay, I can do this. I got this. Awesome. Then I get out 3 months later, and within like 7 hours.
7 hours.
It took you that long? Because it usually was like 2 for me. Man.
Dang.
Straight to the.
And that's like
I
crazy.
had all good intentions until
did.
like they opened that gate and I'm on
Yeah.
my way out and I'm like, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because it's all you know.
Yeah, that's all I knew.
You're used to it.
Yeah, it was literally. I got addicted to crystal meth when I was 13 years old.
13?
13.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's early. How did it get introduced to you?
I was smoking weed already with some buddies, and my neighbor down the street was the weed dealer, and I went over to his house to buy some weed, and he was like, "I'm all out," and he's like, "But I do have some speed," and they called
Oh
it
my
speed
gosh,
back
that's,
in the
like,
day.
insane. Right.
Speed.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And he's like, "It just makes you like feel good and go up." And I was like, "All right, let me try it." I remember I went home and I chalked up the line. I never snorted anything in my life. I snorted the line and I was up for like 3 days and it was like the best. I was like, why didn't somebody tell me about this sooner? And I was off and running for 10 years.
Wow.
10 years.
Every day you took
Every day.
Damn.
Every day.
That's
13
crazy.
to 23.
And you met your wife during that time?
No, this one I met her when I was sober, and then she witnessed some of the most horrific relapses, and she stuck with me, and she walked through hell, and she yelled and screamed at me, and left me, and yeah,
that's awesome. I smoked some synthetic weed once. I ended up in an ambulance.
Oh,
that stuff's no good.
I almost died.
Yeah,
I had
old
like a
were you?
seizure. I was in college.
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
And
I've never smoked weed since. I mean, I
Yeah.
just can't do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
The guy
scary.
was like, "Yo, I got this weed from Cali." We were in Jersey at the time. This is amazing.
oh my.
Oh my god, dude, terrible.
yeah, no good.
I couldn't even talk. Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, I don't drink. I don't smoke. It's been
Oh,
like
really?
3 years.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, which is rare in Vegas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
no,
like
for sure.
Everyone here does it.
Yeah.
But
they
it's-
drink, smoke, and do.
Yeah.
And
Never
that's
come
another
up.
thing too, is like, I think why we're so kind of like passionate about kind of this movement. Obviously, it's really close to Chad because of his daughter and losing someone so close to you and kind of witnessing the fentanyl crisis that's going on. But it's also, I feel like it's really a positive impact for the younger generation. Like, you don't have to try to like fit in by drinking or using what's around. You can still have a good time, you can still go out, but you don't have to think that you need to, I guess I need to have a drink, or
Right.
I guess maybe I'll smoke. It's like, it's okay not to.
For sure. No.
Or don't do it and just pass everybody up like financially.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what?
You know,
who
in
I'm
your
a
life.
huge fan of right now?
Who?
Well, not right now. I've been a fan of him for quite some time. So I'm the youngest of all boys, so sports was always big, and I didn't get into like my nonsense until later on in college. But Deion Sanders. So Deion Sanders and what he's doing at Colorado, amazing. But what's awesome about him too is he's never picked up a drink, and he's never picked up a
Wow.
in his entire life.
I didn't know that.
Yes, which is incredible. And clearly, you have a massively successful athlete,
Yep.
dad, and finances. He's doing pretty good too.
Doing very good.
Yeah.
I think his son's making the most ever
Yep.
for a college
Yep.
quarterback. It's crazy. But I'm glad you said that, because I used to not be able to talk to people unless I was drunk in college.
Right.
Like
Right.
I was socially awkward. I had to drink. And it took me a while to even just figure that out after I got sober, how to
I know.
like communicate.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at you now. You have a podcast
know,
that
right?
kills it, and obviously you're not doing anything to get
No,
on the mic.
I'm not drunk, not high, completely sober.
Yeah.
Is it?
I found though that sometimes us introverted people, more introverted, because I feel like I'm totally socially awkward. At least I feel that way. We really crush it on these things.
For some reason, dude, yeah, I've had on a lot of guests that are introverts too.
Yeah.
And they just crush it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
I mean, we're both
Yeah.
Can you imagine? She's an introvert and she had to get up in front of 100,000 people live.
That is crazy.
You know,
Yeah.
in a awkward outfit.
Yeah, bikini,
know?
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Wrestle
weird.
people and
Yeah.
like it was live.
You must have been nervous, right?
No, for sure, of course, especially because I kind of was thrown into that whole experience, which was for sure like right time, right place. God definitely opened up that door for me to walk into WWE, but yeah, for sure, walking into Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, and I never wrestled a day in my life. I'm a field athlete. Like, I like to stay on the ground. Like, soccer is my sport. That's what I played in college. And so going into wrestling was like, wait, what? A suplex, huh? Yeah. Like, even though like I tried out and was going for the developmental contract, but then God had other plans for me, and skipped that because of the reality show that they just so happened. Total Divas was about to start filming, and then all of a sudden there was a curveball, and they wanted 2 fresh girls that knew nothing, didn't know how to wrestle, didn't know the business, and then here I am.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right.
Everything happens for a reason, right? Yeah, I truly believe that.
Yeah.
So were you completely sober during that time, the WWE days?
I was. I'd just gotten out of rehab like maybe 4 or 5 weeks prior to my last like callback for WWE, and it was like the physicality to see if you can even like handle the what it takes to be inside the ring. Yeah. And I had met my now husband at that same time, and I had relapsed right before that that tryout in front of my husband, because I've said this story
Vegas,
it was in Vegas at a joined bachelorette party for his best friend. I was getting married. Oh yeah, it's great. I literally met him, and then I didn't tell him that I was just out of rehab, because that's not like, who wants to, hi, nice to meet you. By the way, I'm a mess. You know, that's like not what you lead with. So we came out to Vegas, and then once again, off to the races. And then he's a smart man, and right off the bat, he's like, you're an alcoholic. Called my mom, and my mom was like, my mom was like, oh, yeah, she is. Yeah, I know, it's wild. And then, so basically he gave me the ultimatum of like, if you really want us to be together, you need to go back to Alcoholics Anonymous, start working the program. So with my tail between my legs, I called my previous sponsor and asked her if she would take me back. And then she said, well, you know the deal. And I said, yes, I do. And I did. And then I went balls to the wall into my last audition. And then that's when everything like opened up for me.
Amazing. Bam. What a story.
So,
seriously, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. So you met him in WWE?
So I met him right before. So it was right when like, so I started WWE. Wow.
Tongue twister.
Yeah, it is. It kind of is. I started in 2013. And that was like right at that time when Instagram basically became Instagram. Yeah. So it was prior to Instagram even being on like Androids. It was only on Apple. No DMs yet. No like special thing. Like no crazy filters like what we have now. And so I met him right before walking into a whole nother realm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that Instagram, the blue layout.
Oh yeah, and then people like you would post those like weird little like filtered photos. Like
I didn't get on it. I'm older.
You got on late.
Yeah, I was late. They already had DMs and stories and all that when I got on.
Yeah, so he was like when I told him that I was about to embark on this journey of possibly going and becoming, and this was just the developmental deal at the time. He at first looked at me crazy, thinking like, why does she want to get punched in the face? And I let him know, just because if I had gotten the job, then I would have to move to Tampa because that's where their facility was. Yeah. And I didn't want to have somebody try to be like, I love you, don't go, or something. But he wasn't. He was like, well, if you really want to do this, then I'll support you 100%. So he would pack my lunches before I would go to my tryout. And
wow, he packed your lunches?
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Well, he's a really big nerd. Like, shout out to Jonathan, I love you. He was working at Blizzard at the time. Blizzard is a gaming.
Yeah, I've heard of Blizzard.
Oh, okay.
I used to be a gamer.
Oh my God, my husband is a huge gamer.
Okay,
like
sick.
He is, and I say like a big nerd. I don't mean that in like any like bad fashion. I feel like nerds are amazing.
He's like this buffed out, like model looking nerd.
Yeah, nerd is a compliment.
It is.
Oh yeah.
But back then,
when I say it, I totally mean it in a compliment. So I always have to reiterate that I mean it in a compliment, because I didn't marry him. But so he would be going to Blizzard, and I would be going to my tryout. So before we would leave, he would pack my lunch for me and send me on my way. Yeah.
Yeah. How intense were those tryouts and the training? Because there's some nasty injuries. WWE.
Insane. I remember the tryout. So they don't do them anymore, but we were not called divas anymore. But they would do diva searches. So they would go to all the major cities and look for the next WWE diva. And we were in Los Angeles, and so they narrowed it down after callback. They narrowed it down to, I think, like 15 of us. So the first day, you know, we get into the ring and they have us start like doing forward rolls and running the ropes. And I remember there was a couple girls that were like, wait, you want us to do what? We're out of here. Because they're like, you know, from Los
Models,
Angeles. Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was everything that I was like wanting and missing in my life, because I was an athlete for so long that I was missing that competitiveness. You have to obviously handle all the physicality. Then you get to build a character and perform live in front of a live audience. And then you get to travel the world and do amazing things within the community. Like, so my dad's a Vietnam veteran. And this is another thing why I really ended up wanting to partner with Chad and the Infinity Group, is because my dad's a Vietnam veteran, and so our military is everything to me. In WWE, I got to go to Afghanistan twice to go visit our troops. And, you know, I feel like I always wanted to do something, because when the guys come back from war, they're kind of not well.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of stuck, whether it's they're suffering from PTSD or substance abuse, which a lot of them do, because they're trying to numb whatever they saw or whatever they did. And Chad and what his family have done, you know, they have 3 houses that are strictly for our veterans. And I thought that was just like absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
So my dad, I mean, I take him right now to the VA. So the fact like that there's a facility out there for these guys, and I get to be a part of it, is everything. Like, I got to go a couple weeks back, one of my first times out kind of touring the facilities and stuff. I got to go to one of the houses and sit down with one of the guys that is in the program and in one of their houses, and got to talk to him and see how he's doing, you know. And I thought that was just like amazing, because I think also too, because they are a different breed, that it's nice to be amongst other veterans, because they kind of, you know, they all can relate to some degree, even if they're in different branches or whatnot. And I love that fact. So I think after that visit, that's when I was like, okay, where do I sign?
Yeah, I love that. You guys must get a lot of veterans. My cousin served in Iraq, and he had problems coming back, man. Now he's in jail, and it sucks to see, because I didn't realize it until I had on veterans on the show, like what they actually deal with, all the trauma. And it's terrible.
Yeah, we have 2 houses that are specifically for mental health, primary, which really works on the PTSD and the other mental health issues. And then we have one, a much bigger program that is substance use disorder is what they call it today, which would just be addiction treatment.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we're also contracted with the VA.
Oh, nice.
So we're actually part of the VA. So the VA, it's called the Community Care Network. So we're part of the Community Care Network for the VA.
That's cool.
So any veteran can actually, that service connected, that is honorably discharged from the military, can go to the VA. They can get a consult, and then they can come to our. Now, if the VA has an open bed in their program, which they hardly ever do, that has to get filled first. But once, if most of the time the beds at the VA aren't filled, are fully filled,
right?
So then they refer them out to us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were fully filled. That means there's a lot of them dealing with some
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
For sure.
Well, there's just not enough beds in the VA hospital because I mean, especially after war times.
Yeah.
These guys are coming back
Messed up.
And there's not a lot of, it's not really good how they reintegrate people back into society, whether it's the military or, you know, our prison system. Is both of them are lacking big time in
for
that
sure.
area.
Yeah, everyone I talk to from prison.
Oh, for sure.
It's like the recidivism rate is 80%. 80% of people go back to prison.
Yeah,
it's a revolving door. Yeah, it's sad, and I think too, especially with our veterans, I think they're instilled in their head to like not ask for help or not talk about it, because, you know, it's like, get the job done, strong, tough,
don't cry.
don't exactly.
Yeah, don't show emotion.
Don't show emotion.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of them that don't seek the help,
Yeah.
whether it's they don't know where to go or what to do. And so I'm like on a mission. I want to go to every single VA and talk to whomever is basically the yes man, so that way I can get these guys the help they need. And now partnering with them, it's like we have the facility, we have the tools for them to go somewhere and, you know, get their life back.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how many more beds can you accommodate right now for the veterans?
Well, it's easy to grow. I have 80 beds in Hope by the Sea that we can accommodate for veterans. And then we have 24 in the 2 different mental health facilities, which it's actually not hard to grow those.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of veteran contacts. I'll introduce you guys.
Oh,
Okay,
Hopefully
awesome.
you could fill those up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a great episode, guys. Anything you want to close off with or promote?
Well, we want to definitely promote the Hopeaholics podcast,
Yeah, for sure.
of course.
Yeah.
And we want to really also want to promote, you know, the Infinity Group, which is the hub of 7 different brands of alcohol treatment centers and mental health facilities.
Nice.
And if anyone is listening and wants to, they don't have to even show their face for our Recover Out Loud Zoom meeting that is at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Tuesday, and it's in the link in our Hopeaholics IG or my personal IG that you can go and, you know, listen to other people if you're struggling.
Nice. Yeah, I'll put these links in the video for you
Oh,
guys.
amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And where are your locations at?
We're all in Southern California right now. And then we're opening up a place in hopefully San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, if you're
Fingers
watching it,
crossed
guys,
on
reach
that
out.
one.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys. Great episode. Thanks for watching as always. See you guys next time.